Yes, indeed. We're going to be chatting to Peter Muller in just a moment, but I think we have to take a moment to take cognizance of how big tomorrow's fixture really is. 4 years of blood, sweat and tears. Two of the best sides in world rugby will meet once again, and I think we can all remember the last time the stakes were this high.
It's 1995 all over again. Nobody gives us a chance. I think man on man, there's probably more talent in that New Zealand side than the Springbok side. What happened in 95 was not just a rugby match. It's that time again. So we're hoping, we're praying for a miracle on Saturday. Let's be honest.
The Springboks and the All Blacks reignite the greatest rivalry in the Rugby World Cup semi-finals tomorrow. With only one win in the last 5 matches against New Zealand, it's going to be an uphill battle for the green and gold.
I think South Africa have become very predictable. Skalk Burger winning Man of the Match awards is fantastic, but it's not hard to plan to play against the Springboks because he's running through that Channel 1. Lothar Jager is going through that Channel 1. And as good as it's been against the teams that we've beaten resoundingly in this tournament, Steve Hanson's looking at those videos and he's saying, simple plan. I'm worried that we're sitting with a limousine of a backline, but that limousine hasn't been used yet. We've got creative players there who still haven't been unlocked, and that's not an individual thing. It's the way that the team's been playing that's kind of left them as a latent force.
The 1995 Rugby World Cup final remains the Springboks' most famous victory. As an integral part of that team, Japie Mulder knows the challenges facing Heineke Meyer and his men all too well.
Yeah, it's hard. It's very tough. The guys aren't at home. You know, you're sitting there in a hotel. Hopefully the guys aren't reading too much what's happening in the press. That'll distract the guys. We were in 95, we were asked not to read any papers prior to the semis and the final, and hopefully that's what's being done there. It's going to be a very, very tough ask for the South Africans to actually pull this one through, especially the way that the New Zealanders have been playing. It's just the way that these guys have been playing the last 3 to 4 years. You know, they play a very expansive game. They use their backline full extent to the fullback. Everybody gets involved, and the guys up front all got the same set of skills. That's probably a thing that South Africa is lacking at the moment, is the full complement of 15 guys can actually use the ball and use it extensively.
It's the match that the whole world wants to see. The Boks against the best team in the world, against the defending champions. That's the rugby clash of the ages.
Heineke Meyer has stated this is the best All Blacks team ever. With both nations on tenterhooks, will the Springboks' mix of youth and experience topple the defending champions?
Oh, can we do it? That is the question. And of course, it is going to take a massive undertaking from all of those players. I think the bench as well. Peter Muller joins us once again. Great to have you on the show. Thanks for walking this journey with us. I think we're both as nervous but as excited. So we thought we'd look at a couple of heads up, a bit of matchups of those key positions on the field. We know that the loose trio is going to be paramount tomorrow. We need that fast ball. Looking at Dwayne Vermeulen, Kieran Reid, we saw Dwayne hitting his straps in the last match.
It is. I think Dwayne has been excellent the last game, but if you look at the stats, you look at Reid, he's more of a ball player, ball runner, where Dwayne is almost like your fetcher, he's there you're doing the hard drafts, getting over the gain line. So it's going to be interesting between the two guys,
Do you think our trio have the edge?
I think we do. Francois Louw's been on the edge, and I think this game is important for him. You need to get in there, you need to get in front of McCall. Yeah. So if we can do that and get that, slow down the ball, I think we've got a good chance there.
Yeah, now we look at the number 10. So we've got Dan Carter, probably the best fly half of his generation, and maybe all generations, an absolute star against the Wunderkind, Andre Pollard. It's going to be really interesting to see how these two match up and what kind of tactics they push.
Well, Graham, you've got Dan Carter, the old guy and the youngster, I think. But Pollard, he's got something about him, he can attack the line, when he's got good a ball going forward. Again, Carter is the guy that can settle the game. Carter's kicking haven't been great, but again, Pollard is, last weekend, I think he kicked quite well,
Yeah, and of course he scored 2 tries against New Zealand, which does help, and I think it's his moment now. When we get to the centre pairings, this is the most mouth-watering prospect, undoubtedly. Let's do Dialendi up against Nonu.
Well, it's almost like David and Goliath, I don't know who it is, but I think the Langer's actually got, the edge on Nanu. I think at the moment he can offload in the tackle, he gets over the going line. I think Nanu is just more a brute player. Yeah. So, but again, I think it's going to be a good tussle, the Lange will have to be good on defence.
Now, of course, the wingers have been scoring a lot of tries for both sides, and they're, I think, a mouth-watering prospect as well. Where is the battle going to be won, do you think, when it comes to these two teams? Is it a defensive effort? Is it attack? We've got rain coming.
Yeah. Well, you talk about the rain. You know, I think if it's coming on Saturday, I think we're going to have to play a different game. The All Blacks going to have to play a different game. It's going to come down to kicking, I think. So who's going to make the kicks? But again, it's just who gets to the breakdown first, who get their set pieces. And
who concedes less penalties.
100%.
So much has been said about the predictability of Heineken Meyer's strategy. Steve Hansen, you know, consummate pro, really has got the side clicking at the moment. In the coaching department, who do you think's got the edge?
I think All Blacks, you know, from a coaching point of view, this does got the edge. I think they can change a game in second half. But again, you know, it's not about the coaches now anymore. You know, it's on the players on the field that can change a game. You know, the coach can only tell them, listen, you know, we want to attack X, Y, and Z or plan A and B. But, you know, at the end of the day, on the field, you have to see what's in front of you.
Yep, and of course the Springboks do have that habit of stepping it up 10% every time they do face the All Blacks. Thank you so much to Peter Muller for joining us. We'll continue our chat a little bit later. But now, of course, we wanted to put some very important questions to those who know it all, teenagers. And we touched base with some of the Sansusi girls, and we posed this question to them. If I was SA coach, ...
If I was their coach, I would ask for South Africa to have a better defence and to have a better lineup when trying to score.
I believe that you need firstly a good defence, and then you need to take possession of the ball most of the game, especially in the first half, because a lot of the action happens in the first half.
I was the coach, I would use Pranavana because he scored a hat-trick and he's fast.
If I was the coach, I would definitely make more subs. I would use the wings, use the backline players, and kick the ball in the proper direction. Use Patrick Lambie and substitute Andre Pollard if it is necessary, so that they can get the ball across the field easily.